So this is the third video. Previously I had left off where I cut open the seam lines for the roof and did a unfold along with optimize, and I did the stem where also doing the UV map and also doing the projection for the base floor, and also putting the edge loop over here so that it doesn't stretch. I had also went over and talked about where you select the mesh and you have the history frozen, the history deleted, so that let me just delete that again. So that you can see in here where basically by default this is what we see, how it flares out, and it's makes it hard to change the UV lines, to move the UV lines, right? So I talked about that. And again, the way you do that is under smooth mesh, right? Mushroom shape, smooth mesh, open subdiv controls. You set this to preserve edges and corners, and you notice it doesn't flare out. So yeah, just wanted to review that just in case, because it's pretty important. Anyway, now I'm gonna talk about where this area is stretching, and it's stretching a lot, and I'm gonna discuss why it's stretching a lot. I need to go into UV mode, and you notice this white line, which is this one right there. It shows the texture borders, right? The cut lines. So this cut line, see, I need to grab all of it. Oh jeez, man. Alright, so that's selected. Hold shift to select the entire right, keep on grabbing that, grab all of that. So that is this, the underside. So it's folding onto itself. See, I'm gonna show again. Right, I'm coordinating the two views. So here's the before. It's just all stretched out. It's stretched because, remember, the tighter the spacing means, yeah, I'll just show it. So I'm going to pull. Right. So what you're seeing here, if you take a look at this rectangle, that rectangle, and when you compare it to this rectangle, their proportions are nearly the same. This one's a little bit taller than this. That face, this face, is actually this face. So previously, before that, it was squished and overlapping, and I just literally pulled it up. And the more I pull, the proportions become more and more correct. And you know that the proportions are becoming more and more correct when the pattern looks more and more like a square. See, now this is too much. Something like that's, yeah, right around there. I'm looking at that part. It'll never be perfect because it's curvature and it does squeeze in, but it's in the ballpark. So that's what that was. Okay, so I scaled this, right? This proportion is this proportion. Now for this one over here, is this one. So as you can see, there's stretching. The reason why there's stretching because this strip of land, parcel of land, is too proportionally not correct. So I gotta go in UV mode. Maybe what I'm gonna do is grab all of that again, all of these. I'm gonna coordinate it. See, here's that. I press 6 or click on this icon, or not. Anyway, so I'm gonna look over here. So I'm coordinating to get a perfect square. This is actually very important to avoid stretching. That's good enough. I'm gonna pull out. Now the next row is also stretching. So from here, I'm gonna deselect this row. I'm gonna hold hold control, go up here, left click and drag while holding control to deselect that. So here are those UV dots. I'm gonna coordinate it. So I'm pulling down. When I'm pulling down, I'm giving it more real estate space. So if this is too much, that's just about almost right. Something like that is good. Pretty darn close. The next row, there's definitely some stretching. So I'm gonna, same process, I'm gonna hold control. I'm going to deselect this row. See? I deselected that. I'm gonna coordinate it where this, all of these UVs, I'm gonna pull down, something like that. Right. Then the next row, hold control, deselected that. I'm gonna pull down so it gets less stretched. I'm gonna, same thing, hold control, deselect. So far this over here is pretty good. It's actually pretty on point. I probably don't want to mess with it. Maybe pull a little bit, just a little bit. Everything else, to me, well, down here is some stretching. So I gotta figure out which one that is. I deselected this row. Maybe I'll grab the bottom 2 rows. Maybe I'll pull down. Right, so I'll grab the bottom 2 rows right here. I'm gonna pull down, so I'm giving it more space like that. So that's pretty good. I think that's all I need to do. And then that's just right. Perfect, see? Nearly flawless. Actually looks really nice. And then, so that part's done. That was 10 minutes. And now I'm just gonna, so everything seems to be, this you can't help. This you cannot help because of this. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna now scale them all together so that they're proportionally together. Shell mode, and the whole point is to fit all of these shells into this area. I'm gonna scale it, but I'm gonna make sure I select all the shells. Start pulling in. It's okay if these squares get bigger because they are uniformly scaling. I'm gonna try to see if I can, yeah, I might need to, yeah, that's not, I need to scale it down more. So I'm gonna grab, it looks like this one, the roof, it could be bigger. Alright, scaled bigger because it's noticeably, the pattern is noticeably bigger than down here, so proportionally it's not aligned as good. Wait, maybe I'll around there maybe. Let's see, this looks like it'll never be perfect. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. So best thing to do is just to use your best judgment and eyeball it. Right, so I did make this one a lot bigger. And this one, this is pretty big, so I think I need to also make this one maybe scale it down, or no, scale it bigger as well. This one's not as important because it's the underside, so I just keep it like that size. But everything else seems to be good. Okay, so I resized this and this for a bit. I left this one alone so that the patterns match in the ballpark. Then I'm gonna go back in, scale all of them together. The whole point is just to try to fit them like that. And remember, like, I grabbed all of them together. Once the face tilings, the square tilings are kind of the same. Now I'm gonna fit this, so that's a good fit. They should never cross this line. Give it some space. This is still good. I'll grab this one. Never have your shells overlapping. And this one I could just scale it in a little bit. I'll place it over here. Get a little bit of space. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. And then that's gonna be good. So, you know, it's a bit of a tedious work, but this is actually in my opinion, the best way to possible to set and stage it in order to get, you know, trouble-free textures. Yeah. Alright, so that's the end of this tutorial. And I think the next one I'm gonna go into probably texture painting. Yeah. Okay. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna save it for the next video. Alright, bye.